Friends, so we're going to be reacting to everything that happened at the Super Bowl and everything that didn't happen at the Super Bowl that happened at the All-American Halftime Show, brought to you by those dearly followers of Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA, right? The organization that he had. We're going to give you our honest opinion. We are Christians. We are Latinos. We watch both shows. We analyzed, and we're also going to bring the Bible, and we're going to talk about Jesus, because ultimately what we want to do as Christians is point back to the Bible and point back to Jesus. Maybe some of what we say you're not going to like, and that's okay. We can have our opinion. You can have your opinion, and that's awesome. And we are in favor of people having their own opinions. But I think bigger than opinion, I've always think that... what would you say? ¿Cómo se dice? Self-control to me is bigger than anybody's opinion can ever have. I think self-control is what we should look for in anything and everything. And I think that's very lacking in today's day and age in the name of giving our opinion or using free speech. Okay, so you say, well, it's free speech. I can say whatever I want. No, you shouldn't say whatever you want if you're a believer. You should control your mouth, right? So we're going to try to do that.
And it's one of the fruit of the Spirit.
Yes, we're going to try to do that. So if you can do that,
you need to invite the Holy Spirit in you, right?
So let's invite the Holy Spirit, Mili. Invite the Holy Spirit real quick.
Jesus. Yeah. We come to you, Lord, to give thanks for a new day. Thank you for your grace and mercy over humanity, over our lives, over our family. Thank you, Lord, for who you are. And your love is so great for us that you forgive us again and again and again. And you give us the precious gift that is the Holy Spirit that we don't deserve, but because you are good, and because you love humanity, we can receive this beautiful gift that is given to us. We accept it and we ask for it too, Lord. So help us, Holy Spirit, make a place in our hearts, reveal yourself, give us that light so we can bring that to the world. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Okay, so people want Spanish, but I'm just going to say this in English because... the All-American Halftime Show, guess what? We watched it, and we have a kind of like a preview of what it looked like. If you didn't watch it, and just to explain a little bit what this was an alternative to the halftime show, right? So some people were upset. One, that Bad Bunny, it's kind of like a bad influence, and it's kind of like in the name, right? His name is Bad Bunny. It's not like Good Bunny or Friendly Bunny. So it's kind of implicit in the name. Like our name is Christian Podcast because there used to be a podcast called Bad Christian Podcast, and we thought, hey, that's a really good name if you take out the bad. So maybe Bad Bunny music, I've listened to it because of the Super Bowl. I'm like, well, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to see what it sounds like.
You did it because he won the Grammy. Right? Like,
no, but I knew he was going to play at the Super Bowl. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to check out some of his songs. I'm Latino. As a Latino, I'm like, okay, some of the music, some of the rhythm, I'm like, that's cool. I've never been a fan of reggaeton. I've never been a fan of like I don't know, this I like alternative rock. That's my type of music. So I listened to it. I'm like, hey, there's a few things I can appreciate. I can totally see where some of the language is like bad. But all that to say, that's why the All-American Halftime, or one of the reasons why the All-American Halftime Show happened, is because people were upset that somebody like Bad Bunny with his bad influence and bad name were going to be a part of the halftime show, that they decided to do an alternate All-American Halftime Show. Now, here's where it gets super interesting, okay, Mili? Because originally the All-American Halftime Show, this is by Turning Point USA. And actually, if you can see on the bottom of the screen right here, it's by Turning Point USA, which is Charlie Kirk's organization that he founded. Mili, it's pretty crazy to think that the All-American Halftime Show, the people behind it, they wanted to have a few Christians come, right? So there were talks a few months ago about maybe having what's his name? Forrest Frank, one of the top Christian singers in America. Forrest Frank. And then Forrest Frank, in turn, was talking with Corey Asbury, which is a worship leader, super famously known for the song Reckless Love, which that song set apart. Has caused controversy because of its name, Reckless Love. But it's basically the song that says, oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. Okay, so that's Corey Asbury. So he had a beef with Forrest Frank, but then they fixed it. And then they're like, hey, what if on the halftime show for the Super Bowl, we throw like a Christian party? And then the Turning Point guys, they came along and they're like, why don't we do it together?
They had the same idea at the same time.
At the same time.
But they were not talking together.
They were probably watching each other on Instagram, and thought, oh, that's a great idea. Let's do it. And then they talked about doing it together. And this is where I think a lot of people were confused. Actually, a lot of people were visiting our website and asking, where can I watch the All-American Halftime Show? And is it going to have Forrest Frank?
They were expecting him.
They were expecting Forrest Frank. The people we were with, which are our friends, they were expecting Forrest Frank. Like, oh, I think Forrest Frank is gonna show up. Now, he didn't.
You didn't give him the news, Beto.
I didn't want to tell him because I knew it. But this was, let me explain to you what the All-American Halftime Show was. This was a patriotic event. It had, I would say, maybe like 5% of like Christianity embedded into it. If you watch a little bit of like Charlie Kirk before, there's kind of like, this is why Charlie Kirk started Turning Point USA, and we want to see campuses turn for Christ. With that in itself is a topic for a different time. Okay, we're not going to cover that because there's Turning Point USA and there's Turning Point Faith. Okay, and those have similar objectives, but also different objectives. So let's not talk about that for now, but that's one of the reasons why the All-American Halftime Show happened. And when they talk with Forrest Frank, like, hey, let's do like this Christian thing together, Forrest Frank was very adamant in saying, we're not going to participate because our goal is different. We want to share Jesus with no political agenda. Like, we just want to share Jesus. I think some people were maybe a little bit naive, and they were honestly expecting like a little bit more like Christian stuff going on, a little bit more like what you saw in Charlie Kirk's funeral. There, I think that was a little bit more like, okay, that's. I mean, it was a lot of like patriotism, but it was very Christian-like, right? There was Brandon Lake singing like worship songs. There was Chris Tomlin, one of the #1 worship singers in the world, and he was singing worship songs. And so there was a lot of like, okay, people are singing songs about Christ. The All-American Halftime Show was, I'm going to say nothing like that, but it was like this much like that. And I'm using my fingers to say poquito. Okay, very poquito. There's this guy at the end, and sorry if I don't know the names. Country music is not my favorite. So I don't know a lot of names. I think it's Kid Rock. I could be wrong. But this guy wearing a blue hat, okay, at the end, he sang a song, and it was kind of moving because he said, you know what? When I wrote this song, I felt like I was still missing a verse. And I think like God was speaking to me and saying, hey, there's a verse that I have for you. And then he gave him the verse, and the verse was about, there is a book that you have in your house that's just dusty, referring to a Bible, and then saying, you got to pick that book up, and then you got to read it, and you got to find out about second chances, right? So that's totally the gospel. Now, where I think I'm in Turning Point USA and the All-American Halftime Show was kind of lacking. You're competing against the Super Bowl, right? With a huge budget. I was hesitant from the beginning when I heard, even if it was like together with All-American Halftime Show, Turning Point, and Forrest Frank, I was still skeptical to think, can they put something off that will be of the quality? And we're not discussing right now morality and any of that, right? But can they pull something off that's of the quality of the Super Bowl? just
That's
in
what I
terms of
imagined.
production, right? You thought,
I was expecting that.
yes, hands down, the Charlie Kirk funeral was way bigger than the All American Halftime Show. Okay,
But that costs a lot of money, Beto.
that's my honest opinion. Some people are gonna love it, some people don't. But actually, I ended up watching this, and I don't love country, so I was like, maybe like last year, when we're watching Kendrick Lamar, and we're like, what's going on in the Super Bowl? And what?
We were so ignorant.
We're trying to follow. Now, I want to say after watching Kendrick Lamar and then reading the lyrics and understanding the context, because I'm not a black guy, I'm a Latino guy, right? So maybe that is happening also with people that watch Bad Bunny. It's like, well, what the heck went on? And he was singing in Spanish and all of that. But Mili, like, I didn't understand Kendrick Lamar, but eventually I read more about what he was trying to say. I'm like, oh, okay. So he made some political statements. He used his song in this way to criticize his like Drake and like all these other rappers. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool how he did it. That's clever. And I actually understood the whole thing. Guess what? I don't listen to his music anymore. I did listen for a season just to kind of like, oh, okay, this is what the Super Bowl was about. I don't know. So that means, Mili, that names come and go.
Yes.
And only one name lasts forever, and that's the name of Jesus Christ. Right? So that part is awesome. Like, I think as a Christians, we all understand. Now, the only thing, Mili, with Turning Point USA doing this event at the exact same time of the actual halftime show, it's a cool idea. Like, let's do something that makes a statement. So I give it to them for like trying to do something that I don't know, kind of like tries to pull away from the culture and say we should be watching this. But it was very patriotic. I mean, I saw, like I said, maybe like 5% was like about like Christian message. And if you really want to convert people to Jesus or invite people to Jesus, because the only person that can convert people to Jesus is the Holy Spirit, I think pulling away from the culture is not the best way, And to that, maybe we'll move on into like Bad Bunny's Super Bowl. But also another person from Puerto Rico is Daddy Yankee, which a little bit of his song was sung during the Super Bowl, okay? It's the part where it says, Dame más gasolina, quiero más gasolina. So a lot of people know that song. It's super famous. And what's interesting, really, is that song is by Daddy Yankee, who's one of the founders, I would say, of reggaeton. But Daddy Yankee has come out as like fully surrendered his life to Jesus, okay? And Daddy Yankee has kind of like not called out, but has invited Bad Bunny and said, Bad Bunny, when you give your life to Jesus, that's going to be your real touchdown, right? Using like the like puns of the Super Bowl and stuff. Now, I want to say I love soccer. Football is boring to me, but
was not that boring.
But it's not usually very boring. Now, you're not gonna like this opinion if you like the Turning Point USA show. I think the Turning Point USA show was pretty boring because I don't like country, right? Maybe if you like country, maybe you felt like all the emotions and you were like, oh man, this is the best thing. I know some people that did. So that's cool if you liked it because you like country. Awesome. I mean, there's no shame in that, right? I mean, that's great. But to me, actually watching the Turning Point USA was so disappointing that it actually made me liked the game. Like the game was like, wow, this game is boring, but it's not as boring as the halftime show by Turning Point USA. But I mean, that's just kind of like a funny opinion. If you still want to watch the Turning Point USA, I think there's no hurt in that. I think there's a good message at the end, like I say, by this guy, which I think is Kid Rock. I don't know, but it's pretty good. And the hard topic here is how do we really engage with the culture? Because what Bad Bunny's showed us, Mili, and then we're going to analyze, maybe in Spanish, we're going to analyze like picture by picture exactly what they're trying to show. Because as Latinos, I think we could relate huge in what they were showing.
We can do it quickly in English too, Beto, for people like that's the most they didn't understood anything because it was in Spanish.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing. Sorry. One thing I want to say for that, Mili, is that let me just put Bad Bunny here somewhere. Okay. Let me just tell you something and listen to this. Okay. I grew up in Mexico listening to American music, British music, music in English.
We all
Did. And
Yes.
there's a reason why music is famous worldwide. Okay. And there's many reasons for that. But even if we didn't understand the music, we love the music. Like I listen to Michael Jackson, I listen to whatever, like all the bands,
Yeah.
the Beatles, whomever, whatever band that sings in English, we listen to it as Hispanics.
And terrible English.
Terrible English.
Terrible.
And we didn't understand what they were saying.
No.
So now you feel a little bit of
Yes.
how we felt all of our lives. Okay. Now I know this happens in America at a very important event, which is the Super Bowl, which is kind of like American football. Is like, okay, this represents who we are and all of that. That's cool. But also, I don't know if you knew, but Puerto Rico is part of the United States and they speak Spanish.
Beto, our kids, they just found out.
They just found out. Okay.
They're like, what? I have
Yeah.
a high schooler, I have an elementary school and middle school.
Yes.
And they didn't know.
They didn't know.
No.
Yeah. So Bad Bunny is more US citizen than other people who have performed at the Super Bowl in English, right? Like Coldplay, like, Shakira did a little bit of Spanish, but mostly in English, even though she's from Colombia, right? But I mean, this guy is an American citizen by default because he was born in Puerto Rico. Now, there's political tensions and messages that he's using in his songs. Yes, like many songs. I mean, there's a lot of songs that have political implications. That's kind of like a cool way to use music. It's maybe as a form of protest. Because why not? You're singing a song, right? You're not being violent out there. Now, if the song incites violence, then that's a different thing. But I think overall, the difference between the Bad Bunny Super Bowl and the All-American Halftime Show was shocking, Mili, because to me, at least from my perspective, the All-American Halftime Show was lacking, wasn't that entertaining. And we're going to get into the more moral themes behind Bad Bunny and all of that, right? But Bad Bunny is super entertaining. I mean, 100%. Just like watching like people dressed as grass behind him. I mean, super entertaining. And as Latino, I mean, I can say many, many things that I liked about it. Morally, I can say as a Christian, I can say many, many things I didn't like about it.
Yeah.
And probably like the same thing like Kendrick Lamar. A year from now, I won't be probably listening to Bad Bunny
Hey, Beto,
anyways.
I told you, look, Beto, los voladores de Papantla.
Yes.
It's like, no, that's like
Those
for
are
the
the light poles.
electricity. Oh.
Yes. Okay. So, do you want us to tell us a little bit of what happened in these images in English, so that maybe the people that didn't know can know, and then maybe we can turn all of this into like a Spanish podcast and do Spanish. And if you guys want to tune out, that's fine. But let's go kind of like picture by picture, frame by frame. Okay. It starts with like plants. I'm going to say that looks like a field, maybe a farm somewhere in
La
Puerto
caña,
Rico,
¿no?
right? Yeah, I don't know.
El
It could be
azúcar.
caña, could be azúcar. Yeah, totally. And it says Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio presents. So that's the name of Bad Bunny. His real name is Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio. He's not related to Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez, even though the last names are similar. And I think Ocasio-Cortez has also a Puerto Rican background. Now, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans in the U.S. already, okay? So anyways, this is massive, but it starts right here. Let's move ahead and kind of like show a few scenes. This is super cool, okay? Again, when we get to the moral parts, we'll analyze the moral parts and the messaging and all of that. But this part is cool because it's just representing like maybe the culture of Puerto Rico, maybe their typical dress of the people in the farms, people working in the fields, people working the caña, or the, I don't know what caña is, but where basically how you make sugar from. So to bring all of that into the Super Bowl, it was pretty cool. right? Like we said, like people wear dress as grass. So anyways, he starts here. He comes with with a ball in his hand, like the American football. And then the production quality, the camera movements, all of that is just amazing, mind blowing. I mean, like 1,000 times better than All American Halftime Show if we were to compare, right? But I feel like it's not even fair to compare it to the All American Halftime Show. I think it's just better to just like dive into what's going on.
I like that
at the Bad Bunny Super Bowl, right? So the fact that there's people working, appreciation for Bad Bunny for doing this, Mili. Like, cool. I think it's like if a Mexican goes to the Super Bowl and then puts people making tacos, and which actually we'll see somebody making tacos, but things that are very typical of Mexico. I don't know, people working with elotes and maíz and things like that. It's like, cool.
Cultural.
I mean, yes, cultural, right? Okay. So far, so good, right? And I mean, he's looking at the camera, and then you see these guys like selling coconuts.
Agua de coco.
Coconut water. That's amazing. I mean, I can just imagine people in the street, kind of like what you see in typical Latin American countries, maybe even in some very Latino cities in the United States, like sometimes in Los Angeles,
Santa Ana, Costa Mesa,
where you see people selling things like this. It's totally awesome. I mean, I think there's no fault in this. It's just kind of cool. This is how people are. They're always like hustling for work, and what a better way than to do something productive, right? So in this case, these guys are selling coconuts. I'm assuming that's very typical maybe in Puerto Rico, so why not? Cool. I mean, it's just representing kind of like the culture, what the culture of Puerto Rico is. Then this part is amazing. Okay, I'm gonna remove myself a little bit, but you see this older crowd playing domino. Okay, now Bad Bunny, because I've been listening to him, he's got a song where he says, "My grandpa and I are sitting down on Sunday playing domino." What a beautiful picture of a grandson with his grandpa playing domino on a Sunday. Does that happen anymore? I don't know. Does that happen in America? Maybe in some places.
In my family, that's how we grew up. Was not domino, but we're like playing cards with grandma.
Okay. So this part is amazing. It's beautiful, and he's got some of his lyrics. I don't think he sang these lyrics, but in his lyrics in the song, "Debí tirar más fotos de cuando te tuve, debí darte más besos y abrazo la vez que pude." Okay, so in that song, that's where he mentions his grandpa, and then he's having a conversation with his grandpa about like, "Hey, are you still with that girl?" He's like, "No, sorry, we broke up," and it's kind of like the sad story. And it's sort of like a cool story, right? So to me, like so far, like this is moving. This is awesome. Okay, so far so good, right? Then you see like these gals doing like fingernails, like painting their nails, and very flashy. $5 more. I don't know. I don't know exactly what this part means. Maybe I think it's just people doing girls doing their nails. Maybe that's like a typical Sunday thing to do. And I also imagine these girls maybe like going on TikTok, and doing videos about how they're painting nails. I know a lot of Latinas do that, and they just show other Latinas like, "Hey, this is how you do makeup," and stuff like that. So I think there's no foul play in this. I mean, it's kind of cool.
I don't know how it's in Puerto Rico, but in Latin America, or especially in Guadalajara, Beto, we're not going anywhere without makeup and dress up and nails. Like I have my nails like right now. But culturally, like we really dress up. When I was at the university, I remember doing, wake up 4:30 in the morning so I can take a shower and do my hair and do my nails. And I will go to school like super
Mija,
fancy and fashion.
You look good today, mija.
Mija. So it's cultural. Like
you
we care
me.
How we
Sorry,
look. Ándale, Beto.
I had a Bad Bunny moment.
Cancelaron el nombre a todos.
Okay, let's see what else is happening here. So he continues to walk. Look at these women, like working in construction. They brought bricks to the stadium.
I don't think they're working, Beto.
Well, they're lifting bricks, but just the scene of what I'm seeing, like people with bricks, construction, it's cool.
Maybe we can see like, como dice, obra negra houses.
Maybe what you're
it's
saying
like
is maybe like there's a lot of construction homes that weren't finished.
Yeah. They
Right?
don't even but they're fashion and cute and they're
Yeah. Oh, but they look great, right?
Yes.
That happened to me. And it's kind of like what the Bible is. Actually, Jesus said, when you build a house, don't be the guy that didn't count the cost, so that when you build the house, you end up not finishing the house. And then everybody looks at you and like, oh, look at that guy, ran out of money and didn't build the house. That kind of happened to our family in Mexico when we were growing up. We decided to remodel a home. And then we had a big gap on the door, like the main front door, for years. But I think it's just kind of like a little bit of like typical
going to
Latino.
private universities.
I was going to private university.
So that costs money.
Yeah, I'm a licensed communications specialist. Please refer to me, Mili. Refer to me like with my proper.
Universidad del Valle de Temajac.
Yes. So look at this guy. He's selling raspados. Okay, I guess they call him piraguas. So raspados is kind of like shoved ice cream. I think ice, chopped ice or something like that.
They have the ice right there.
Yeah, right there. I mean, that's awesome.
And look, all the cultures see the little flags in the bottles.
Yes,
because that's
they have the Mexican.
What they do it
right here. They have the Mexican with like tajin. This is like a Puerto Rican. This is like a like from Spain. This looks like a Colombian flag.
That's what we have in common, right?
Yes. Okay. So far, I mean, this is fun.
Yeah.
Right. So far, it's like, oh, cool, Bad Bunny. You're not that bad, right? You're funny. This is cool. Cultural heritage. It's great.
You're hanging out with friends to going.
Look at the guy with the
raspado.
bike. Right. This is very typical in like Latin American countries to have a bike where you sell stuff. I mean, that's entrepreneurship of Latin Americans. Okay. Let's see what else. He gets a raspado. Okay, he's got a raspado in his hand, chopped ice, little treat. That's awesome. And then he's like going under like this guy's boxing. I think this is kind of like a referral to, some of the boxers are good when they come from Latin American countries. I mean, there's a very famous one from Mexico. ¿Cómo se llamaba? There was one in my era, was El Maromero Pais, and then there was a recent one, which right now I forgot his name, but if you remember his name, just put it in the comments. That's neither here nor there, but it's kind of like a nice cultural representation of this, right? So I think so far, let me tell you, because I saw the whole thing already, right? I think he's breaking up his show into segments that he wants to portray. So far, it's been more like the Latin American background, okay? I think we're almost getting ready to see a very different side of what he's going to try to portray, right? And then he makes a key phrase in between let's just call the culturally or even like morally shocking part of the presentation. He makes a statement in between that going into a wedding. Okay, so pay attention to that, because that to me was like the key statement. Like, oh, this guy knows exactly why he's doing what he's doing. So I'll tell you about the phrase he uses. So then here comes with a guy that is selling oro y plata. So this guy is kind of like ¿cómo se llaman esas? A pawn shop. Okay, kind of like a pawn shop where you need money and you're in a really quick struggle, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna have to go to the pawn shop and sell my jewelry, sell my guitars. It's very typical here that there's a pawn shop in Costa Mesa where we're from.
So many stories that I can tell you what happened with my mom's jewelry.
Yes,
disappear, and I'm not gonna say who did it, but that's what we do.
Yes.
Like you need money and you go and sell all your jewelry.
How many times did my mom go to the pawn shop?
Beto, don't say that.
Sorry, mom. I love you. I love you,
on
mamita.
Our family.
Some women. And I remember seeing the lines of people going to the...
No way.
See?
In Mexico?
Yeah, in Guadalajara.
I never went.
So, I mean, this is kind of like another maybe typical like Latin America representation. Hey, you need quick money? Here, I'll exchange, And the guy is like bling, bling. The guy behind the counter. I mean, look at all the stuff he has, right? So he's saying, I buy and sell. And then, so here's where it starts getting a little bit more like, okay, what Bad Bunny believes about things, right? Because he gets kind of like a wedding ring or a proposal ring. And then Bad Bunny makes a comment in which he says something along the lines of like, oh, this is not for me.
You take
it. And then he passes it on to this other guy who's randomly there with his girlfriend. Now, this is kind of cool from the perspective of like, okay, if you don't believe in marriage, that's not necessarily like the worst thing. But the fact that he's like passing it on to a guy that does believe in marriage, I think that's something ultimately positive. Okay, we're now getting into murkier waters. It's getting more tricky. It's getting a little bit more like, we're about to see like more like almost like naked women and stuff. So I think we're going there. So he's trying to make some statements, but the fact that he gives the ring to another guy and then that guy, let me see if I can. It might be too long, but let me just play it real quick. Okay. So that guy kneels and shows the ring to this girl, right? So he's like, I want to marry you. I want to be with you forever, right? So I think that was cool. Because later on, I think at this point, everybody knows, right? Later on, we're going to see like a full-on wedding. And what's interesting is it was actually a wedding, but we'll talk about that when we get there. And this might be a super long video and explanation of everything what's going on here. But I mean, this is frame by frame. Basically, we're going frame by frame. What's going on here. So now we go to like almost like segment 2 of this. And I think it's kind of cool that the first segment, which represents like the Latino culture, the hustle of like we work in the farms, we sell coconuts in the street, we sell raspados, like all these things of the entrepreneurial spirit of the Latino.
Like kind of the daily life.
The like daily life.
Like common things.
I think it's kind of cool that it's almost like ending this segment with a guy offering a ring to a girl. Like that's ultimately, I think for the vast majority of Latinos, it's like, I want to have a family. I want to be married. I want to have a good life, and maybe that's the case for most people. But I say for Latinos, I think it's I think so far it was like, oh, cool. Yeah, that I can see totally like relating to this as a Latino. Okay. And then it gets into like a party right there in the back. You can see it, Mili, but over here, we see Pedro Pascal. So this guy behind here is Pedro Pascal, also known as the Mandalorian, and he's an actor known for many other stuff. Some of the people here, they're evidently like in a party. Now, what's still cool is they're outside of house. Okay? So I feel like it's still kind of like representing like the Puerto Rican like party that we do parties outside in the street. Now, this is where, from my vantage point as a Christian, it starts getting to something like, okay, I wouldn't, like if this was a show I was to watch because I want to, I wouldn't. Okay? I wouldn't be watching this. Now, there is a huge Latino population who loves to party. And I'm not saying they're Christians. All I'm saying is like Latinos like to party. And I think this is very typical like Latino party. Right? Now, I'm not saying it's like every single Latino. I don't think this represents every single Latino out there. But I think it's very common. Right? Like here where we live, there's a nightclub. And you see a lot of Latinos lining up to get into this nightclub every Friday night. Right? So it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of like what the culture is. So I don't think there's anything necessarily shocking other than this is culture. Okay? Now, I'm giving you my honest opinion is I wouldn't watch something like this. To me, it's like too much skin, too much like showing your butt and dance and all of that. So it's not my preferred style of dance. I don't even like dancing, but if I was
El perreo, que es lo que le llaman,
and they call it perreo. I think, I don't know, but I think it's related to Puerto Rico, like PR, perreo. So it's kind of like a type of dancing that's very sexual and there's a lot of movement with their booties. and he starts saying like all these things, right? So now it's just like a full-on party.
Yes.
Right? And the guy's on top of the house. Now, visually, it's awesome. Right? I think visually it looks really cool. The stage is a house. Is the roof of a house. That's almost kind of like typical of Latin America. because there's not a lot of space. Homes are built like stacked up on each other. And now what I see is that a lot of people do their parties on the rooftops because that's where they have space. So I think this is kind of cool, and still the people behind with the grass, I mean, props to those people. I don't know necessarily what the story behind that, but I thought that was cool. I just think like all the people standing there, I'm like, if it was even just to give him a job and get paid for that, I think that's cool. Again, this is I'm just gonna kind of glance through because I think it's just a party, a lot of dancing, a lot of showing your butt. He uses a few bad words in his language as he's singing. This is where maybe he's mostly criticized in the sense of like, maybe utilizing femininity or womanhood as like as a thing, right? Oh, in Spanish we say cosificación de la mujer, a thingification of women. Maybe I mean I could agree with that. I think there's certainly some of that, but visually I think it's appealing, right? I mean, there's no doubt, like Super Bowl, wow, like these guys went insane. And then here he's like in the middle of this little square. There's more dances. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. And then boom, he falls through the roof of this house. Now here I think they switched to maybe like a pre-recorded scene because he looks really clean when he comes out of the house. But I think it was like nicely done, right? The fact that when he goes down, now you see a video of like people in the house and then like, what the heck happened? Where did this guy come from? I don't know if he's maybe referring to maybe something that actually happened in Puerto Rico or because homes, maybe people dancing on the roof and maybe the construction quality wasn't great. Maybe he fell through the roof. I don't think it's related at all with the Bible when they lower a guy from the, from the roof.
Nada que ver.
Right?
No.
But it's kind of cool that people are there. It's a family. And if you see what they're watching on the TV, which is a old school TV, if you notice, it's a really old school TV, which maybe that represents Puerto Rico. Like, oh, the new flat screen TVs, 4K and all of that hasn't really arrived. I don't know. I haven't been to Puerto Rico. I know a story of a woman that, well, maybe I'll share this in a little bit when we talk about the electricity. But I think this is fun. This is just funny, right? The guy falls and everybody's like, what the heck? And then he comes out of the house super clean, right? So I think that's why I'm saying like, I don't think he actually fell at that moment. But this is cool. I mean, this is just a clever presentation. He comes out of this party. Now the party gets a little bit more insane, a little bit more intense. You see, like these two guys, like I've seen clips already of like these two guys like really, really close to each other and kind of like leaning into more like the homosexual themes and just kind of like the debauchery that maybe a party can bring and maybe alcohol and things like that. So yeah, right? I mean, that can be. Now there was a song, Mili, I can't remember who sang it, but it was called like Mambo Number 5. And it just to say, I like Rita and Sandra and da-da-da-da-da. That's kind of like what Bad Bunny was saying at the beginning when he showcases all these girls. He's like, well, I like girls. I think that was maybe right now it's not so much a trend anymore, but I think maybe back in our era, Mili, that was very like a machismo reality that men were like, oh yeah, I'm with like 5, 6 girls, 7 girls, whatever, I just I count them or whatever. I don't agree. Like I wouldn't agree, right? You're the only person I ever dated and married. So I think my life story is way different. But it's representing, I think now it's more like not just representing culture or, like Latino culture. I think now it's more representing the world and maybe themes of
where
like
right
equality or LGBT and that sort of stuff. I think that's what this is leaning into a little bit more, right? Maybe showcasing a little bit of those elements or a lot. Now, visually, again, this is cool. There's a truck. Puerto Rico, I don't think they make their own cars. So I think the story I knew, this is maybe more from like Cuban stories, but it's also an island where it's hard to drive a new car there. So when they import a car from the US or wherever they get them from, cars last a long time because that's all they have, right? So I'm not saying, I don't know if it's like true exactly to Puerto Rico. I know that was kind of like the reality in Cuba. That's why you see really old school cars in Cuba. But I think visually it just looks kind of cool, right? That he's on the top of this like really old car and there's a party going on. Again, like I'm not this type of party guy. So I would never probably go to a party like this. But I think it's representing the cultural moment event, visually appealing. Then it gets into like this segment of, I wouldn't call them mariachis because I'm assuming they're from like Puerto Rico, but no, with my Mexican background, you think?
Yeah, they mention.
Oh, wow.
They're Mexicans. Yeah.
Okay, so So to me, it's crazy to think like all the people in the back of that grass are actual people.
Well, no, where the girls are. It's
these ones? Oh,
yes.
the ones behind over here on the right. Okay, so more like over here, these are real people. Okay, that's crazy. So anyways, he's singing through this section where people are with violins. That was kind of cool. And looking directly at the camera.
Beautiful music.
And then this part is intense. And this is the part where I was telling you, when he gets here, right here from the violins to the wedding, he says a phrase in Spanish. Y dice, esto es lo que ustedes querían ver. Es más, hasta la voy a poner. I'm going to put it to see if I say it correctly, okay? Let me see if I catch the phrase and then I'll tell you guys in English.
Esto es lo que tú querías.
Esto es lo que tú querías.
Oh.
This is what you wanted.
But not for him, because remember he passed the ring to the other couple.
I think he's making a statement kind of like Kendrick Lamar last year, where he's saying, remember Samuel L. Jackson comes up and he's like, no, you're doing it all wrong and you're supposed to be friendly and this or that. And like, oh, this is what you want. And then he throws in like R&B and there's this woman singing like a soft song. I think this is kind of like the same thing that he's doing right here. Okay, we showcase already a lot of booty. I already said a lot of bad words. I already talked about, like having sex with everybody. This is, esto es lo que tú querías. This is what you wanted. This is what you wanted to see. Because from here, this whole segment, I'm totally in. It's totally cool. It's like 100% awesome.
I almost cried.
100% awesome. Okay. And from what I understand, this was an actual wedding happening. Like these guys got married right here on the Super Bowl. So creatively to do that while putting on your show, to me is mind blowing. Like I've never seen a show where, because I'm analyzing like the spectacle of this presentation, right? Because to me, it's more than just about the music. I think the music is there and there's musical elements. And actually, this is probably my favorite part because the musical elements are going to be played live, just like you saw the violins. Now we're going to see guys with trumpets, a guy with a piano, and like this salsa music. So look, these guys get married right there. That's creative. I mean, sorry, but this is awesome. This is really, really cool. And then we see, I think this woman is Lady Gaga. Again, I don't know a lot about Lady Gaga. But this is cool. She sings a song in English, by the way, if you want to listen to it.
So good.
Look at that. Wow. This is probably a lot of people's like dream wedding, like a place, because it totally transported me. Like I know there's a stadium behind, but this is like you're in some sort of hacienda. You even see like the light poles right there. You see the huge cake. You see kind of like the esplanade, like the cement floor. You see like a little like the steps where she's singing. I mean,
the best part, we're coming to that. I don't want to mention.
Here in Costa Mesa, we have a store, like a Mexican store. That's huge. Like people come from all over the California to this store. It's called Mercado Market. And it looks kind of like this. It has like this vibe. And people love it from all backgrounds. I mean, you see chinitos, mexicanos,
Asians,
negros, blanquitos. Like everybody goes there. And everybody loves it. And this is kind of like what I feel like it's evoking, like people in the streets celebrating. You see the people playing the music, the congas. the piano, people dancing. This is awesome. I mean, this part is just cool. And I
And I
know
don't know
maybe
if in that corner is like an oven. I don't know.
yeah, it
That
looks like an oven,
right?
like they're cooking maybe pizza, like I don't know. But this part is amazing, and then Lady Gaga is right there singing. Now I don't know Lady Gaga's song, so I can tell you, she sings this or that. I think this song is famous though, right? Because everybody knows this song. If the world na 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 na. That's how when I don't know English, I sing a song. I just la tarareo. So this is crazy. I mean, this is awesome. This is cool. Look at the palm trees behind, like over here in the back. What detail and care to like. This is what a wedding is. I mean, it totally transported me. Visually, it's like, wow, this is a wedding actually happening. And then she's singing. I mean, she sings great. I don't know what to say about her singing other than it was in English.
Amazing.
And it was in English. Then what else? Look at this. People are dancing. You see the cake. There's like 1, 2, 3 people with the pipes or trumpets or whatever those are. This is cool. I mean, it sounds awesome, right? No, it's amazing. I don't think anybody could disagree. Like, oh, that's cool. That's good music. That's ¿cómo se dice?
I want to dance the song.
That's even family friendly, right? Like I don't see anything like, oh no, man, like there's 2 guys dancing too close to. No, I think this is, and I think that's why he intentionally said this is what you wanted to see, right? Before going into this moment. So yeah, I feel like right here he kind of like won my heart in the spectacle again. Now again, I'm not saying like I agree with who Bad Bunny is or what he says. But I think this is cool, right? And then he dances with this girl. Now here some people said that she does like some like satanic rituals with her hands and all of that. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe some people that are into that, you decide and you figure it out. I've always kind of like understood that behind powerful music, there's powerful forces. So yes, maybe. I don't think salsa is inherently bad though. The song is awesome, okay? Pam, pam, pam. No te puedo olvidar, no te puedo borrar. Me enseñaste a querer, me enseñaste a bailar.
You las aprendió?
You taught me,
learned that.
it's like, I don't want to ever forget you. You taught me how to dance. You taught me how to love. It's cool. I mean, it's a cool song. I mean, there's no way to go around it. This is just a cool song. Even like, you could say even like healthy lyrics. Fun dance. Look at the kid. Okay, this is the part.
Dance since
right? Okay,
little.
say something about that, Mili.
That's how I grew up, dancing
grew up like
on the
this.
floors. Yeah.
Yeah.
But with another girl, with my mom, I think boys in Guadalajara and Mexico on my time were a little bit more shy, but they dance too, but it's less. I feel like maybe I'm dancing with my mom or with my sisters, you know.
Okay.
That's
so
how I grew up.
Tease us up, Mili, what's about to happen? Because I know he goes into a chair and there's a kid.
And that's only Latinos we can understand that.
Yes.
Because in our culture, it's not like, oh,
right there.
Like it's my daughter or my son nap time. We need to go by and people will live here, right?
Yes.
Because that's the kids, they need to go to bed.
Yeah.
That
they need to be
happen
to bed
to
at
us.
9 p.m.
To like that, weddings, quinceañeras or whatever. Oh, you're tired, honey? Go. They grab 3 chairs. There's exactly 3, and they put you down there, and you will be sleeping there the whole night. Meanwhile, your parents are dancing and drinking and having fun.
Yes.
And I'm a survivor.
Yes. I slept on chairs too. I slept on chairs as a little kid. I slept on chairs at a party.
So funny.
Okay,
yes.
And to put that in the video or in this performance. Mira, he comes and he's like, wake up, little boy. Hey, wake up, little boy. We're in a party. That's clever. I mean, that's fun. That's funny. That's just teasing up like what happens in like Latin American culture. I think that's cool. I mean, there's no way to go around. I mean, the kids are having a good time. Of course, that's a performance, right? I don't think the kid was actually sleeping. But I think to make that point, like whoever thought of like, this is what Latinos do, that was awesome. That was clever. That was funny. Then he continues to sing. I mean, the guys who got married are dancing. She's having a great time. Isn't that the point of getting married? Didn't like Jesus turn water into wine at a wedding? Yeah, and I'm not saying like Jesus is here like turning water into wine, but I think like Jesus wanted people to experience his goodness and the joy of having a good time when you get married, right? Something special is happening. You're forming a new family. You're coming together. You're thinking of your future. Your family's there. Your kids, friends are there. Like everybody's there. Look, people are happy. I think this is completely solid.
Huge celebration.
Yes. I think this is solid. I think this is cool. I think that was awesome. And then he gets onto the top of this building and falls down as he says, Nueva York, which means Nueva York or New York. So he's got a song called New York, but without the... So if you guys don't know, Puerto Ricans, they speak Spanish.
Or
Boricuas. They speak Spanish, but they always cut short like the endings of the words. Okay? So even some other Latinos could be like a little bit like, oh, what did he say? So instead of Nueva York, New York, Nueva York, they would say Nueva York. Nueva York. So they do have a little bit of like a different accent when they speak. So you gotta get used to it. I don't know. It's like Americans listening to like a guy from Scotland or from England.
I just love their accent.
Yeah.
It's so delicious.
Yes. So if you didn't understand some of his songs or his lyrics, well, we didn't understand some of it because he's got an accent, right? A thick accent. So I think that's totally normal. But this part is cool because it's kind of like the trustful where he goes into the people that catch them. Now, I think now he's representing New York. And I think there's pros and cons in this
San
part.
Francisco too. No, is it like San Francisco?
No, San Francisco is the place where this is happening in the whole.
Oh, that's why they
the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's why he mentioned San Francisco in this part. But I think right here he's representing New York, and what I know, Mili, is that there is a lot of Puerto Ricans that New York is either their home or have lived there. So I think that's kind of cool that there's representation to that. And it's really interesting, Mili, because at the end, he's going to use a song, which is Debí tirar más fotos. So I think he's making like a cultural statement because Debí tirar más fotos, the song that he sings at the end, says it's kind of like a song wishing people would never have to leave their country.
Oh, that's the part I cry.
Right? And we'll get to that part, but I think in that song, he's trying to say, Puerto Rico is awesome. We don't need to leave Puerto Rico. And right before that song, he actually sings another song with Ricky Martin where he says, we'll get to that too, but he says, don't let to Puerto Rico happen what happened to Hawaii, that they took it from us, you know? So, I mean, that's very political. I'm not going to get into those stuff. But I think what he's trying to portray here is like a lot of Puerto Ricans are part of the New Yorker culture. I think that's cool. Now, I think this gets a little bit also into like that party, a little bit of like debauchery type of stuff. And it's interesting, Mili, because Daddy Yankee, like I said, Daddy Yankee, another reggaeton guy from Puerto Rico who gave his life to Jesus, he's mentioned in this party because they bring up the song Gasolina. A ella le gusta la gasolina. So I think it's just kind of like a tribute. And he actually mentions and says, he says a phrase like, this is Puerto Rican music, right? So I think he's giving kind of like a nod to Daddy Yankee, like starting the revolution of reggaeton with Gasolina, right? And I think Daddy Yankee now, I mean, he's living a complete different lifestyle. He's preaching, he's talking about Jesus, like he's awesome, right? But I think in the context of like before Jesus and all of that, okay, he's just representing like the culture of Puerto Rican New Yorkers. Super, I would say like typical. You know, I've known a lot of Puerto Ricans who have lived in New York. Like our neighbor, remember esta, la que se murió su hijo? They were from
Oh,
Puerto
yeah,
Rico.
yeah,
They lived
yeah.
in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Ines Franklin, who comes and records here, who's a teacher at Mariners Church. She lived in
A pastor.
She's
a
from
pastor
Puerto Rico. She's a pastor from Puerto Rico who lived in New York
for 16 years.
for 16 years. So I think New York is just part of the history of a lot of Puerto Ricans. Okay, so I think that's cool. Still kind of like this vibe of party. Like I said, maybe not my type of party because it gets to like showing too much, or maybe like dances that to me I feel like, okay, that's not my style because it's too much. But I think the representation right there is cool. Right? It says Caribbean Sports Bar. We accept EBT. It says on the bottom right there. I think that's just kind of like a cool representation of like a little shop in New York. There's a barber shop there in the back. People dancing. That's kind of cool, right? And this is where he makes the nod to Daddy Yankee, where he sings that little bit of Gasolina. So more music, little circle. Visually and performatively, I don't know if that's the word, but the performance and the visuals, it's complex to put up this type of event and this type of visual that we're seeing. I mean, the people behind it are geniuses. Because the people, the complexity of people dancing with props, the woman, every detail. Look at this woman with the Christmas lights behind her, right? And she's selling alcohol, right? So I'm guessing like he goes there and gets like a shot of.
Yeah. I think she owns a place where everybody get together and they drink there.
Okay. And I wouldn't be surprised if this woman actually owns this place called Conejo.
Yes, I'm telling you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's the owner.
Oh, wow. Okay. So he goes there and gets a shot. Okay. Now here's another little clever part. There's a kid. I don't know necessarily like the connection of this kid with this, but there's this scene of a family watching the Grammys. And the guy that's receiving the Grammy is Bad Bunny, which just happened like a week ago. So that's pretty clever. And then Bad Bunny actually shows up and gifts the ¿cómo se llama eso?
The trophy?
The trophy, the Grammy to this little kid. And then I think he says, always believe in you.
No, this is for you.
This is for you? Okay, this is for you, or like always believe in you, something like that. And that's cute. I don't know if he's trying to represent like who he was when he was little, or how they picked up this kid. Like, I don't know, maybe somebody, if you know, put in the comments what this means. Then there's more dancing. Then everything shifts into like this, like a little bit more like melancholic. I don't know what that guitar is called, but I'm assuming it's just like a typical guitar from Puerto Rico. Sounds really awesome. Something like a bajo sexto, something like that. Sounds great. I mean, the music sounds awesome, right? And then we see a world star. Again, this is just a start, right? We're not here to say, okay, I believe in everything Ricky Martin is, everything he stands for, his lifestyle, anything like that. But this guy is a star, right?
And we grew up listening to his music.
We grew up listening to his music. He's been part of the World Cup. He's been part of like, I don't know, a bunch of ceremonies throughout the years. He's got a lot of popular songs, Ricky Martin. So, I mean, there's nothing else to say than, okay, it's Ricky Martin. Right?
Yes.
And then, okay, so here, the background, Mili. Look, there's plátanos. There's like bananas behind it. And then just two white plastic chairs, which I think this is Bad Bunny's album cover. This is cool. This is cool, Mili. I mean, this is just kind of like saying, we're human. This is where we come from. Nothing fancy. Just two plastic chairs. This is how it all started. Look at the bananas behind us. I mean, this could be the patio of my house. This is what it is. To put that into the visual portion of this video towards the end, and then with the song that Ricky Martin is about to sing, I think it's just clever. I think it's cool. I really liked it. Again, I'm not saying like I agree with everything they're saying.
He's saying like, keep your flag up.
Yes.
Don't let them take it from you.
Don't let Puerto
Be
Rico.
proud of your flag.
Don't let.
It's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Right. It's
which here is where you can start maybe turning spinning the tables around and saying, well, that's maybe what some of like, I'm just going to use this phrase. I never like to use this phrase, but just so people understand, maybe this is what some white Americans are referring to when they feel like their flag is being taken by like, immigration and all these things. They're like, oh, but this is my flag. This is my country. This is what it means. This is what the football is supposed to mean. The Super Bowl is supposed to be like this American party of like, we're tough. We're fighting each other on the field. And then a presentation of like the best of the best. And these guys are flipping it over with their song about kind of like a political stance of like, don't let Puerto Rico be the next Hawaii, where we kind of like lose our identity, where people just migrated so much that we are no longer who we were as a nation, maybe as an ethnic group. So yeah, maybe here is some overlaps with what we're seeing culturally happening in the US, right? Again, I don't want to get super political. I'm just telling you what the song is about and what's going on, right? So these guys sing this song. They want to take the river from me. They want to take the beach or the ocean from me. They want my hood. And they want my grandma to leave. So, it's a protest song. I mean, there's no way around it, right? Don't let go of your flag, referring to the Puerto Rican flag. I mean, this is kind of like what I'm assuming. Maybe some people can also take it like, ¿cómo se dirá? No tanto su nación, sino como elementos así de su identidad de you are who you are, be who you are, just be you, be true to yourself. I think some people maybe can take it that way too. Like, kind of like you be you type of thing. I mean, some people, music can do that, right? It's visually appealing. I mean, look at that. The bananas and then a stadium. That's kind of cool. Don't forget the Lelo Lai. Don't ever forget the Lelo Lai. So it's kind of like, I don't know, our typical music or dancing. Never forget that. And don't let them do to you what they did to Hawaii. What did they do to Hawaii? I don't know. But maybe you guys can figure it out. So that's Ricky Martin. That was really quick appearance. And then Mili thinks these guys are the Voladores de Papantla. That's a very localized, like Mexican guys who spin from the top of a pole, kind of like this, and then spin down. It's kind of like an Indian ritual, something like that. But no, this is not what it is. These are guys trying to fix like the electricity post in Puerto Rico. Now, from what I understood, like there's a lot of like problems with electricity in Puerto Rico. As we know, like there's been hurricanes that go through Puerto Rico and they like destroy everything, infrastructure and stuff like that. So maybe that's the point he's trying to make. Like we're suffering. And this is the story I wanted to share with you, Mili. There was this woman, we went to a conference once called the Global Leadership Summit. Remember?
I remember.
With Craig Rochelle and like a bunch of like Christian leaders and whatnot. And there was this woman giving a speech. And she said that when she went to Puerto Rico, she was taking a shower and that the shower was called like the something like the killer or the death, the shower of death or something like that, right? And when she went there, she's like, what are they talking about? And when she was taking a shower, she saw that there was like this hole on the shower wall with wires coming out, like stripped wires coming out. And she was like, oh, now I see why they refer to the shower as like the killer shower, or the shower of death or something like that, right? So, and I think she was referring to Puerto Rico. I can't remember if it was like necessarily Puerto Rico or Cuba, but they're both, kind of like tropical islands. So maybe it's a similar situation, right? But I think this is what this guy is representing right now, that electricity is not the best while the party's still going on over here. And then he's kind of like coming out of the fields with his Puerto Rican flag. Now, I don't know how people feel about this. This is a really interesting thing, that Puerto Rico is both part of the US, that if you're born in Puerto Rico, you can be an American citizen. But it's also kind of funky that it's not the American flag, right? So it's the Puerto Rican flag. Some people also call it like the ¿cómo se llama? The guy from Avengers, Captain America. They also say that's really Captain America's flag because it only has one star, like Captain America's on his chest. So then he climbs this post. Then he says a few things, about like electricity is not good. Then he gets into a little bit more like songs that are questionable lyrics, I would say, from our Christian point vantage. Now, here's some fireworks go off, and that was actually pretty cool. Por la mañana café, por la tarde ron. Ya estamos en la calle, sal de tu balcón. Por la mañana café, por la tarde ron. Ya estamos en la calle, sal de tu balcón. So basically he's saying, in the morning we drink coffee, which by the way, Mili, salud. Saludcita.
Chin, chin.
Tómele al mío. Tómele.
Why?
Sí, porque no tienes. We share.
Sharing is caring. Oh, so good.
So he's saying, in the morning we drink coffee, in the evening we drink ron, alcohol, right? And then come out to the streets. Come out to the streets. Yeah. Now we're in the street. Come out of your balcony, or come to your balcony, right? So it's kind of like we're always in a party. Right? In the morning, we're drinking coffee. In the evening, we're drinking alcohol, and it's just a party. Okay? Then we start seeing some flags start showing up. Sorry about my geographical incompetency, but so far I see like an American flag, the Puerto Rican flag, and then some other flags, which I don't know where they're from. And then he starts saying, this part is interesting, super visually appealing. Okay, this is really cool. So, but he says, he kind of like mentions, I think he's making like a play on words, because he says, God bless America, but with a spin, right? So I think he does it on purpose, because he says this. Sorry, I'm going to have to pause it real quick. So the YouTube doesn't kick us off. God bless America. Sea Chile. Okay, so he makes an interesting statement. You guys understand, right? He's speaking English. I don't know if you understand his accent, but he said, God bless America, right?
So he started with Chile.
But he says a phrase in between.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God bless America. Sea Chile.
Sea
Chile.
Okay? Oh. So here's a clever little word right in between, because he says, God bless America. May it be, or it's not may be, ¿cómo sería? If is.
Oh.
O sea, he's saying, God bless America, and then he's about to say what includes America, right? So he's for sure like gonna take like America is not the country, it's a continent. Of course, there is a country named USA, right? The United States of America, which are in the continent of America. But I think the point he's trying to make is America is bigger than the USA. So America includes Chile, Argentina, and then he starts elaborating on like what is America, right?
The 35
yeah.
countries.
So that part might be controversial, maybe confusing, all of the above for many people, especially people who are born in the United States who don't know maybe the difference between the American continent and the United States of America as a nation, with that name kind of like taking the entire continent within its name, right? So people might get confused, like, is Colombia part of America or is it not? Or is the America, I mean, that could be confusing, right? If you don't know, because why does the United States have the name for an entire continent in their name, right? And I think he cleverly And a little bit kind of like intentionally, he's saying America is bigger than the USA. Okay. I think he's doing it intentionally, a little bit mischievously intentional to say this, you know? So I don't know. People might like it. People might disagree. People might say, oh, he's anti-America, like America as a country. Maybe they might see it like that. But I think it's kind of cool to at least bring the topic into the discussion because like you were saying, Mili, even our kids, they're like, is Puerto Rico part of the United States or is it a different country? How is it different than Costa Rica? Like, oh, no, don't. I mean, Puerto Rico is part of the U.S., kind of like Hawaii is part of the U.S. Costa Rica is an entire different nation in Central America. Has nothing to do. But people are confused, right? Because he has the name Rico, Costa Rica, Puerto Rico. So they're like, is it the same? Is Guatemala and Mexico the same? Ignorantly, like I used to think like, oh, the US and Canada are the same. Now I understand like, oh no, people would like, I disagree with that statement, right? But back then I thought, oh yeah, the US and Canada are kind of like one in the same. They speak the same language. So I think there was a little bit of that assumption, like if you speak Spanish, you're part of the same, Mexico, Guatemala, Colombia, it's all the same, it's just Mexicans or Latin Americans or whatever. So I think at least he's bringing the topic into discussion and saying, what is America? And how is it different than the American continent, which includes all these other nations? And interestingly also, is Puerto Rico its own nation or is it really part of the United States? I mean, that is confusing even as a Latino, right? And I think it's confusing even for maybe some Puerto Ricans. I don't know if I'm hurting your feelings, Puerto Rican friends, maybe put in the comments, like, how do you feel about your country being part of the USA? And at the same time, how do you keep your national identity knowing that you're part of a bigger nation? So I don't know. That's totally confusing. Teacher. Argentina, Uruguay. Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana. Okay. And then behind him, there's this sign that says, the only thing more powerful than hate is love. Brought to you by Levi's. Look what I'm wearing today, Mili. I'm going totally ad hoc with what's happening here on this show.
You're so funny.
I didn't plan it, Mili. It was just what's showing up here. I mean, that's a powerful phrase. I think as a Christian, I can agree with like the general sense of like the only thing more powerful than hate is love.
And love is Jesus.
Love is Jesus. Love is God. Yes, God is love. Yeah, I'm not expecting for a show that's not Christian based or Jesus oriented to be about Jesus, right? Again, like I said, even Daddy Yankee said to Bad Bunny, when you give your heart to Jesus, that's going to be the real touchdown, because he's about to make a touchdown right here with the ball that he's got in his hands. Okay, so look what he's saying. He's saying like all these countries are part of the bigger America. So he mentions Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Mexico,
and I love the music.
Cuba, República Dominicana. Okay, so he's mentioning, sorry, I gotta pause it like every time, but he's mentioning all these countries from Latin America, right? Cuba, Panama, Costa Rica, Mexico, Colombia, Argentina, like all these countries. I mean, people are familiar with countries in Latin America, right? United States. I don't know if you understood that, but United States, United States of America. So he mentions United States, then he's going to mention Canada. Canada. And my motherland, mi patria, Puerto Rico. And my motherland, I don't know if he said my motherland, mi padre, or my motherland, mi madre, or something like that. So my motherland, that's in English, right? Like he spoke English. Mi tierra de donde nací, Puerto Rico. So he puts his country at the end. And then he shows this ball that says, and then boom, touchdown. But I don't know if you saw, I mean, I'm sure by this time you already saw what the ball says, because it's got a little phrase. And now what's interesting is that this phrase, it's a little bit of almost like symbolic in the way that the font that he's using is very similar to like Make America Great Again. Right? I think it's the exact same font.
Wow.
Let me see if I can pause it on the same spot.
United States, Canadá, and my motherland, mi patria, Puerto Rico.
There we
Okay.
go.
Together we are America. Together we are America. So that's his final message, right? On this thing. Well, I mean, he's about to sing like one last little song, kind of like a party song. But I think the message is clear. Together we are America. I think he's referring more to it as a American continent. Like all these countries belong to the American continent. But also I feel like there's implicitly there's a little bit of like America has a lot of these nations living here now. And that's the hard part, right? Because yeah, how do you find your own like United States identity when you have so many like different people's groups with their own like nationalistic identity, right? Like, oh, I'm Colombian in the US, I'm Mexican American, I'm Haitian American, I'm Jamaican American, like wherever you might be from, you know, Asian American. That's pretty confusing. That's pretty hard to come to a conclusion. Like, what is America? You know, some people say we're all of it. But how do you find unity in that? It's hard. I don't know.
It's
but
hard,
that's the
but
message.
it's the beauty.
It's the beauty.
I love the mix. I love the
I love the mix because after all, you know, we're one world and God made us all.
One humanity.
And one humanity. For sure, I don't think this is a Christian message. Mm-mm. Even when he points to the camera at one point and he looks at the camera like this, mira, Mile. He looks at the camera like this and he says, I'm talking how he talks, okay? I'm talking like he talks. And he looks at the camera and says this, I never stop believing in me.
Pretty humanistic.
I never stop believing in me, therefore you believe in you.
No, I believe in Jesus because I don't believe in me.
Never stop believing in you. So, I mean, I generically agree, right? I mean, it's worse to say like, don't believe in anything. You're never going to amount to anything. Okay, that would be the bad way to take it. But also, it's not a message about Jesus. It's not pointing to God. As a Christian, I would almost like wholeheartedly disagree with that message and say, no, it's not about me. It's about others. It's about loving my enemy even, right? I mean, the call of Jesus is like very explicit and strong and powerful. Yeah. And I think ultimately,
like, love your neighbor.
My citizenship is with Jesus and in his kingdom. And I think that's the call he has for our lives. And then just to end, Mili, with how this ends, which is my favorite song from Bad Bunny, if I do have a favorite song, is this one.
Seguimos aquí. Ahora sí.
Wow.
Que party song. No.
That song is powerful. I mean, I love that song. Sorry. And it does have a few bad words. Like I was saying in another podcast, I don't typically like to listen to words with like explicit words or phrases or content. Like I said, I probably in a year from now, I won't be listening to this anymore, just like I don't listen to Kendrick Lamar or other people. There's an other type of songs I prefer. But this is the cultural moment we were living in, and I wanted to listen to it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can get by some of the songs, why they have the rhythm, the passion,
I can relate in some.
The flavor. Yeah. I can relate to some of his Latino background. I can disagree with a lot of his opinions on, how to live your life and lifestyles and all of that. But this song, it says, I should have taken more pictures when I was with you. Oof. That's a powerful statement. I should have taken more pictures.
No, but the other one.
De cuando te tuve. I should have given you more hugs and more kisses when I could have. Yes. Okay? That is powerful. That is something, even if there is not that there is a Christian message in this, but if there is one takeaway from Christianity that I can put into this, is that we need more hugs and more people giving kisses to like the people they love. I think that is lacking in America. 100%.
And the other ones are like, I hope my people never leave me.
Yeah, I hope they never leave. That they never have to like move abroad to somewhere else, right? Mili, America needs more of that, needs more hugs. I know there has been abuse of like, the physical stuff and all of that. But Mili, like people hear hug like this, it's like,
Oh, hi, Beto.
hi. Wow, Mili, in Mexico, even just to say hi to somebody you don't even know, you go like,
Mwah.
mwah. In Italy, our friends from Italy, they go like, mwah, mwah. Our Argentinian friends, even the guys kiss each other like, oh, ¿cómo está? ¿Cómo está? Mwah, mwah.
Pelao.
Pelao. I think America just kind of like has lost that like natural, like, can we hug each other? It's so individualistic. So I think that was a powerful statement, Mili, with that song, with the whole things we're seeing. We need more hugs. We need more kisses. We need more like remembering the people that are around us in the moment they're around us. I miss my aunt dearly. I never saw her again. I've been in the United States for 20 years, and she was dearly, like, I love my aunt dearly. She was almost like a mother figure in not even in the mother figure sense itself, but I respected her so much, and I never saw her again. Okay? And this phrase hits me. Wow, I wish I could have taken more pictures. When I see my cousins posting about my aunt who passed during COVID times, it's like, wow, what a sadness, right? That she's not here, but she believed in Jesus. I know she's with Jesus, and I know one day we'll be together in the biggest party that Jesus is actually preparing for us. So why don't we end all of this like incredible talk about the Super Bowl and the other bowl, and end with like something positive, Mili. This is your time. What do you have to say?
It's so much grace, Beto. So much grace and so much love that we can find in Jesus. We are in this world, and we just need to be little Christians, right? Like the first ones. We need to love each other and be the light and be the salt in this world, and stop pointing fingers. Who is doing good, who represent me, looking for a figure in this world to represent me. It's tough because I think only Jesus can, I wish I can represent him. I wish I can represent enough of Jesus in myself instead of looking in other people to represent me. So that's why we need to focus, to know more about the truth that we can find in that beautiful book of the Bible. It's so much truth and so much beauty and so much grace, because we as a human, we are a mess, even Christians. And we need to focus on Jesus Christ, what he wants for us, and accept that beautiful gift that is the Holy Spirit on our lives. And I hope we're doing a great job to sharing that love to our people around us.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, Mili. So here's a couple comments from Luna695 or Luna695. Yeah. The Super Bowl is an American sport, 100%. Now, let me say something about this. It is, but it also has fans all around the world. And even within the US itself, I think it's there's a fragmentation, not in the bad sense of like division, but the fanhood of Super Bowl is huge.
Yeah.
Right? So I would say they knew why they were doing this. They were putting on this Super Bowl show. And I mean, other people that have been at the Super Bowl, they're not necessarily Americans. I mean, there's been a lot of like British people singing at the Super Bowl. So I think, yes, it is an American sport, but it's also kind of like just like a global sport. Like, and let's be real about this. There's no good football league anywhere else. There is only American football. It's the only place where you can actually watch like football, right? Any other league that appears in any other place of the world is going to be subpar. It's going to be less than. It's not going to be to the quality, the level, the excitement, the preparation, the dedication that American football is. Like, I agree with that part, But also, it's kind of like basketball. Basketball is amazing. That, I mean, even though I think basketball is a little bit bigger in other countries too, the best basketball comes from the US. And that's why the world looks over here, right? My favorite basketball player of all time was Michael Jordan. And this is me growing up in Mexico. It's like, oh, okay, if you want to watch real basketball, there's nowhere to watch it but in America. It's the only place. So yes, it's an American sport, but it's also kind of like it has a global audience. So I think in that sense, Bad Bunny being at the Super Bowl, it's a little bit of paying respect maybe to that audience and saying, wow, the fanhood is big even outside of here, to the point where some American football games are played outside the US now, right? There's a game that's played in Mexico City. There's a game that's played in Europe. That's crazy to think. And I mean, the people, after all, if people are going to follow the money at this type of businesses and level, that I think they're seeing the possibility of the fanhood outside. So to Luna, I would say yes, but also maybe be a little bit open. I mean, what a cool thing that one of your favorite sports happens to be like a global phenomenon.
We can share it.
That's cool, right? Cool. And then she also made another comment. She says, "What?" Or I'm assuming she's a sheep because it says Luna, but I don't know. What a slap in the face to Americans. Maybe, like I said, it could be confusing with the whole. And now she's responding to me. Cool. Thank you for watching. What a slap in the face to Americans. Yes, like I said, it's confusing. The guy saying, is America just the US or is America like the bigger American continent? Yes, that can be seen like as a slap in the face. What's interesting to me as a Christian is that Jesus said, if they hit you on one cheek, put the other. Maybe Americans won't do that, but I, as a believer, feel like that's my call. If they slap me in the face, I'm to turn the other cheek. Again, not as an American, just as a citizen of the kingdom of God. That's my job. So whether it's Bad Bunny slapping my face or whomever it might be, my call from Jesus himself is to love my enemies. It's not easy. It's probably not the best take and the most friendliest ever. But I think if you see what humanity is,
not going to like it.
The world's not going to like it, but it's the only solution to the enmity that we find ourselves in today's day and age. So anyways, thank you, Luna, for listening to this episode. Thank you for all of you who were here watching live. Maybe you were watching on christianpodcast.com, on Facebook, or whatever you were watching. I want to invite you to like, subscribe, join us at christianpodcast.com. You can leave us your email, and we send maybe like one email a month where we tell you what's going on here at the studio, some of our episodes, some of the episodes we record here with other Christian podcasters, mainly Christian podcasters. There's a few episodes I'm really excited about sharing, not from our own, but from other people that have been really, really cool that we have recorded here. And I'm like, wow, people need to listen to this. So if you want to know these episodes and, be part of the network and get to know the episodes that we're recording, go to christianpodcast.com and subscribe. Also, lastly, Mili, because of this whole thing with the halftime show, the All-American Halftime Show and all of that, tons of people came to our website, looking for the information. And like I said, in this live stream, we addressed that at the beginning. So if you missed that part, maybe go to the beginning. But it's also maybe helpful to let us know what are your questions, what do you want to know more about and how we might be helpful in maybe bringing you news that are relevant. We're always going to focus on Jesus. We're citizens of the kingdom first and foremost, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of Jesus. And we love humanity. We love people. I think the call from Jesus is to love those who are sick, those who are right. So if you feel like, you're already righteous and following God, good for you. Let's go after those who are not. Right? What else, Mili? O nos vamos aquí con David tira más fotos de cuando te tuve,
No,
de
pues
vida te amaba,
ya se dijo
y
todo.
abrazo la bestia.
You say it all.
Thank you, Millie. Do you want to do a Spanish one? Because people want it, or should we just end it right there? I mean, we said a lot of stuff. You have any Spanish things you want to say?
We did this because a lot of our friends, they speak English and they didn't understood anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope we add something,
Add value?
Installation.
That's the word we
I
use,
feel
Millie.
like
Add
a
value.
lot of Latinos, we know what's going on with this. And if you want to know our opinion, I don't know, just let us know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we should just keep it in English because people were so frustrated with the guy singing in Spanish that yeah, that's kind of funny. But hey, let's be
We
friends.
love America. We love America. We love the world. We love humans. And God is merciful with all of us.
Yes, I would say this. America is still a great place
Yes.
to live, to be, and to make friends.
I love
Okay.
my bubble. Yes.
I love America.
God is good.
I love America. Thank you guys for being here. Again, give us a like, give us a heart. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. We have a Spanish channel. Also, Christian Podcast Latino. We have ChristianPodcast.com. We have social media. We're always posting reels. We're about Jesus. We're about the kingdom of God. And we're about friends. Bye.
And family.